Buy Sri Lanka's best internet package for online learning and online working with many amazing offers. Call 1212 for more information. Sri Lanka Telecom.
ලෙන්ගතුකම වැඩි කරගන්න ලව්ජු රුපියල් 50ට අඩු කළා.
මාමේ එන්න අපිට එකක් බොමු.
Tonight, it's in your hands. 522 can be infected by one COVID-19 patient in society. But why go there, says the Army Commander. Have no fear. Candidates sitting for the GCE Advanced Level Examination told to be upfront with virus symptoms.
Then they will take measures to sit for the examination in an isolated area. So because of that, any child will not deprived of the examination.
More questions. Former ST of Commandant says he did not receive all the attachments which went back and forth about Zahran and his cohorts in the lead up to the fateful Easter Sunday. What happened? The Attorney General summoned CID bigwigs over Riyaj Badiuddin's release. All that and much more coming up on First at 9, this Sunday, the 11th of October, 2020.
Nava Sunlight Sakura. Then Dikukal Pavatina Sakura Mal Suandin.
From AdaDerana, this is AdaDerana First at 9. Live from Studio 24 in Colombo.
Good evening and welcome to First at 9. I'm Dhammika Kanaika. Now, Commander of the Sri Lanka Army, Lieutenant General Shavendra Silva, cautions that there is no such thing as a virus safe zone in the country, since COVID-19 infections have been confirmed from various parts of the island and not just within the curfew zones. Urging people to do their part to stave off the virus spread, the Army Commander quoted health officials as saying that one single coronavirus patient can infect 522 persons within the society if the people aren't careful. Meanwhile, the epidemiology unit revealed that PCR testing has shifted up a gear with just over 1/10 of total tests coming within the last week.
Since the first COVID-19 infection was reported on the 4th from a garment factory in Minuwangoda, following 2 months of normalcy, a total of 1,186 virus cases have been reported from the Minuwangoda cluster so far. Among them, 103 cases were confirmed last night. Out of them, 2 patients were identified as employees of the Minuwangoda factory, while the remaining 101 are close contacts of the employees from the factory.
Since this outbreak early in this year, 336,251 PCR testing has been done up to yesterday. Since last Sunday up to yesterday, because of this COVID-19 new cluster, 35,213 PCR testing has been done throughout the country during this 1 week time.
ඊය හමුන සංඛ්‍යාව බැලුවම මිනුවන්ගොඩින් 26 දෙනෙක්, ගම්පහ ප්‍රදේශයේ 23 දෙනෙක්, දිවුලපිටියේ 22 දෙනෙක්, අත්තනගල්ල මේ වගේ ප්‍රදේශ වලින් තමයි මේ ප්‍රමාණයෙන් බහුතරයක් අපිට හමු වෙන්නේ. මේ ප්‍රදේශ ඇත්තටම නිරෝධායන ඇඳිරි නීතිය යටතේ පවත්වාගෙන යන ප්‍රදේශ. ඒත් එක්කම තමයි අපිට හමු වෙනවා පානදුරින් එක්කෙනෙක්, ඒත් එක්කම කොළඹ ප්‍රදේශයෙන් එක්කෙනෙක් දෙන්නෙක්, ඒත් එක්ක පොළොන්නරුවෙන් දෙදෙනෙක්, මාතලේ ප්‍රදේශයේ එක්කෙනෙක්. මේ ඔක්කොමගේ කතාවේ තියෙන්නේ මේක මේ ඇඳිරි නීතිය තියෙන ප්‍රදේශයට බහුලව හමු වුණත් අර ප්‍රදේශවලත් ලංකාවේ විවිධ ප්‍රදේශවලින් එක්කෙනෙක් දෙන්නෙක් හරි හමු වෙලා තිබෙන හින්දා ඔවුන් ගමන්ගත් ප්‍රවාහන මාධ්‍ය අපි හොයලා තියෙනවා. ගොඩක් කට්ටියගේ ඔවුන්ගේ ආශ්‍රිතයන් අපි හොයලා අපි දුරකථන වලින් බුද්ධ්‍යංශ වලින් ඔවුන්ට දැනුම් දීලා තිනවා නිවෙස් වලට වෙලා ඉන්නයි කියලා. ඔබ දන්නවා වෛද්‍ය විශේෂඥවරුන් කියලා තිනවා එක්කෙනෙක්ට පතුරවන්න පුළුවන් 522ක් වගේ සංඛ්‍යාවකට කියලා. තාම නැහැ. තාම මේ තත්ත්වය ඇති වෙලා නැහැ. නමුත් මේ ඉදිරි දිනකයේදී අපේ ජනතාව හැසිරෙන අනුව සමාජගත කරගන්නත් ඕන ජනතාවට හැකියාවක් තිබෙනවා. ඒකින්ද සමාජගත වෙලා නැහැ තාම. මේ අවස්ථාවේදී කියන්න තිබෙන්නේ ඔබ අත්‍යවශ්‍ය කරුණක් හරුන්කොට පාරට බහින්න යන්න එපා කියන එක. රටේ මේ ප්‍රදේශය කිසිදු ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ, යන්න හැකියාවක් නැහැ.
In the meantime, with a total of 11 employees of the free trade zone in Katunayaka testing COVID-19 positive yesterday, The total number of patients found from the area currently stand at 14. These patients are identified as residents of the areas of Madamahanura, Avarivatta in Katunayaka, Badalgama, Heenetiana, Jayala and Dankotua. They are also close contacts of the patients from the Minuwangoda cluster. The infected employees of the free trade zone in Katunayaka have, however, temporarily resided in the area of Katunayaka. As a result, health authorities have taken measures to inform their close contacts and subject them to PCR tests. Meanwhile, a student from the Department of Social Statistics of the Faculty of Social Sciences at the University of Kelaniya has also tested positive for the virus. She is identified as a resident of Minuwangoda, while her father was also identified as an employee at the factory in Minuwangoda. The infected student had taken accommodation at a hostel located in close proximity to the university with two of her friends. Health authorities have taken measures to conduct PCR tests on the two friends of the infected student. In other developments, after 3 members of the minor staff at the Colombo National Hospital tested positive for the coronavirus yesterday, measures were taken to temporarily close 3 wards and an operating theatre at the hospital. Accordingly, 6 persons who had maintained close contacts with the 3 minor staff members have been directed to undergo quarantine at the Valikanda and Kogala facilities. The trio from the Colombo National Hospital are identified as persons who had resided at the Silmata Monastery along the Leslie Ranagala Mawatha in Borella, which is the same institution where the infected attendant of the Lady Ridgeway Hospital also resided. With that, a resident of the monastery was also sent for quarantine at the Poonani facility, while their close contacts were subjected to PCR tests.
ඊයේ දිනේදී මෙම ප්‍රදේශයේ ආසන්න නිවෙස් 30ක පමණ කරන ලද සාම්පල වලින් කිසිදු අයෙකුට රෝගය වැළඳී ඇති බවට සාක්ෂාත් වුණේ නැහැ. ඊට අමතරව මේ අය වැඩ කරන ලද ජාතික රෝහලේ කරන ලද සාම්පල් 88 නුත් පොදු අයෙකු හෝ පොසිටිව් බවට සාක්ෂාත් වෙලා නැහැ. නමුත් එවැනි අය සොයා දිගින් දිගටම PCR පරීක්ෂණ සිදු කරමින් පවතිනවා.
In another development, with the curfew imposed in 18 police areas within the Gampaha district, one person from each house in curfew-imposed areas have been given permission to venture out and acquire food, medicine and other essential goods.
නිරෝධායන ඇදිරි නීතිය කඩ කරපු පුද්ගලයන් 101 දෙනෙක් අත්අඩංගුවටගෙන තිබෙනවා. හෙට දිනේ උදෑසන 8 ඉඳලා රාත්‍රී 8 දක්වා කාලය තුල ඒ වෙළඳසැල් විවෘත කරන්න පුළුවන්. ඒ වගේම ෆාමසි විවෘත කරන්න පුළුවන්. හැබැයි සෞඛ්‍ය සිරිත් 100%ක්ම අනුගමනය කළ යුතුයි.
In the meantime, Siduwa Public Health Inspector Suresh Kumar said that a priest at a church located in the area of Raddolagama tested positive for COVID-19. Accordingly, measures have been taken to identify all persons who had visited the church. Meanwhile, it was also confirmed that a mason residing in the area of Vennapur, who was employed close to the bishop's official residence in Manna, had contracted the virus. Regional Health Services Director of Manna, Dr. Vinodan Dharmarajan, stated that PCR tests carried out on the most closest relatives of the infected person led to the discovery of 5 persons who had the COVID-19 virus. Around 15 people, including the Bishop of Manna, have been placed under quarantine. In another development, the Government Information Department announced that the villages of Pattithotam and Periyakadai in the Manna area have been designated as isolated villages until further notice.
Safeguard hand sanitizer. Navatama nishpadana pela neerogimat diviyakata.
The Grade 5 scholarship examination was worked off successfully today under the cloud of COVID-19 in adherence with health and safety protocols. But the bigger event, the GC Advanced Level examination, is to come, and it will kick off tomorrow with it stretching into next month. The message from the health authorities to advanced level candidates is very simple. Be honest and upfront about any COVID-19 symptoms, and you will not be prevented from sitting for the exam.
The Grade 5 scholarship examination commenced this morning across 2,936 centres island-wide. The exam, which was scheduled to be held in August as usual, was postponed to October as a result of the spread of the COVID-19 in Sri Lanka this year. A special transportation service was arranged by the Sri Lanka Transport Board for the candidates sitting for the examination at centres located in the 18 police areas of the Gampaha district where the curfew is in effect. The examination this time was held under the strict adherence to health and safety protocols, and it was also seen how the students followed them before entering their respective examination centres. However, large gatherings near examination centres by both parents and students, despite recommendations for social distancing, were also seen in several areas. Meanwhile, 12 special examination centres were set up for the students who are either from curfew hit areas or were scheduled to sit for the examination at a centre located in an area under curfew within the Gampaha district. In another development, the staff of the Watupitiwala Base Hospital provided facilities for 3 children of COVID-19 infected patients currently undergoing quarantine at the hospital to sit for the Grade 5 scholarship examination. The trio was taken to a special examination centre by an ambulance of the hospital. Meanwhile, Secretary of the Ministry of Examination, Professor Kapila Pereira, inspected the examination centres set up at the Senarath Vidyalaya in Vidiyavatta in Minuwangoda for the children of the associates of COVID-19 infected patients. Furthermore, another examination centre for the students undergoing quarantine was set up at the Kirindawala Central College. In another development, a special examination centre was established at the Infectious Diseases Hospital in Mulleriyawa for 5 COVID-19 infected patients currently being treated at the hospital. The scholarship examination, which commenced at 9:30 am, concluded at 12:15 in the afternoon. Meanwhile, the Minister of Education, Professor G.L. Piris, called at the D.S. Senanayaka College in Colombo after the conclusion of the examination.
ඇත්ත වශයෙන් අපි කෘතඥ වෙනවා දෙමව්පියන්ට රජය ගැන විශ්වාසය තියලා. මම එන්නෙව්වා මේ පස්වන ශ්‍රේණියේ ශිෂ්‍යත්ව විභාගයට පෙනී සිටීමට. විභාගයේ පැවැත්වුවේ සෞඛ්‍ය අංශයේ සියලුම පියවරවලට යටත්ව. ඒ කියන්නේ ළමයින්ගේ සෞඛ්‍යයට කිසිම අවධානමක් නොවන පරිදි.
Furthermore, the Department of Examinations also stated that the scholarship examination was held successfully.
මේ විභාගයේ පැමිණීම ඉතාමත්ම සතුටුදායකයි. ඒ වගේම අපේ විශේෂ අවධානයක් යොමු වුණා ගම්පහ දිස්ත්‍රික්කයට. ගම්පහ දිස්ත්‍රික්කයේ විශේෂිත විභාග මධ්‍යස්ථාන 12ක් ක්‍රියාත්මක වුණා. ඒ 12ටත් සිසුන් 108ක ප්‍රමාණයක් පැමිණ තිබුණා.
In the meantime, the GCE Advanced Level Examination is to commence tomorrow with the participation of 362,824 candidates across the island. The examination is to conclude on the 6th of November. Since the advanced level examination is worked off at a time when the country is battling the COVID-19 pandemic, Police media spokesperson DIG Ajit Rohana highlighted the measures that should be taken by the students during this period of time.
වෙනදා වගේ පාසල අසල විභාගෙට ඉස්සෙල්ලා සාකච්ඡා කරන්න ඉලක්ක ප්‍රශ්න ගැන කතා කරන්න එකිනෙකා ඊයේ පාඩම් කරපු හැටි කතා කරන්න යන්න එපා. කිසිම වෙලාවක කණ්ඩායම් හැටියට ඉන්න එපා. දෙන්නෙක් හැටියටත් ඉන්න එපා. හුදෙකලාව ඉන්න. විභාගේ පටන් ගන්න වෙලාවට විභාග පරීක්ෂකවරයා දැනුම් දුන්නාම ශාලාවට එන්න කියලා ශාලාවට යන්න. ඒ වගේම විභාගයේ අවසන් වූ විගසත් ආපු ප්‍රශ්න උත්තර ලියපු ආකාරය මේවා ගැන සාකච්ඡා කරන්න යන්න එපා. හැකියක්මනින් තමුන්ගේ නිවසට යන්න. මොකද කණ්ඩායම් හැටියට එකතු වීම ඒ වගේම දුරස්ථභාවය තබා නොගැනීම විශාල ප්‍රශ්නගත සහගත තත්ත්වයක් ඇති වෙන්න පුළුවන්. විශේෂයෙන්ම ඇදිරි නීතිය පවතින ප්‍රදේශවල විශේෂ විභාග මධ්‍යස්ථාන තියෙනවා. මේ වෙනකොටත් ඔබගේ විශේෂ විභාග මධ්‍යස්ථානය අඳුරගෙන නැත්නම් අඳුර ගන්න ඕනේ. හෙට උදේට වැරදි විභාග මධ්‍යස්ථානයකට යන්න එපා. හැම විටම නිරෝධායන රීතීන් වලට අනුගතව අනුකූලව කටයුතු කරන්න. ඇදිරි නීතිය තියෙන ප්‍රදේශවල අයට විභාග ප්‍රවේශ පත්‍රය ඔබගේ ඇදිරි නීති බලපත්‍රය හැටියට පාවිච්චි කරන්න පුළුවන්. එහි පිටපතක් තබා ගන්න.
And also if a child is having fever, sore throat, cough and cold, difficulty in breathing or some symptoms and signs suggestive of COVID-19, they should promptly inform the school staff. Then they will take measures to sit for the examination in an isolated area. So because of that, any child will not deprived of the examination. We seek the cooperation from the students and their parents that they reveal if any child is having some sort of signs and symptoms suggestive of COVID-19.
හෙට දිනේ ආරම්භ වෙන විභාගයේ සඳහා ඔබ උදේ 7:00 වෙනකොට විභාග ශාලාවට එන්න ඕනේ. ඒට හේතුව අපි සෞඛ්‍ය ආරක්ෂිත වැඩපිළිවෙලක් ක්‍රියාත්මක වෙනවා. විභාගය ආරම්භ වෙන්නේ පෙරවරු 8:30ට. හවස් වරුවේ පටන් ගන්න විභාග කාලවලදී දවල් 12 වෙනකොට විභාග මධ්‍යස්ථානට එන්නට ඕන. විභාගය පටන් ගන්නේ පස්වරු 1ට. විශේෂයෙන් සෞඛ්‍ය අමාත්‍යාංශයේ නිර්දේශ සඳහා ප්‍රමුඛ අවධානය යොමු කළ යුතු බව මම අවධාරණය කරනවා. දරුවන්ට පාසලට ඒමේදී සහ පාසලෙන් පිටවීමේදී පමණයි අපි මුඛ ආවරණ පැළඳීමට උපදෙස් දෙන්නේ. විභාග ශාලාවේදී එසේ කළ යුතු වන්නේ නැහැ. නිරෝධායන මධ්‍යස්ථානවල උසස් පෙළ විභාගය සඳහාත් අවශ්‍ය පහසුකම් ලබා දීමට අපි කටයුතු යොදා තිබෙනවා. මෙම විභාගයේදීත් අපි විශේෂිත විභාග මධ්‍යස්ථාන ගණනාවක් ගම්පහ දිස්ත්‍රික්කයේ ඇති කරලා තියෙනවා. විභාග මධ්‍යස්ථාන 12ක්.
In the meantime, several more precautionary measures were taken by authorities in view of the prevailing coronavirus situation. The Ministry of Health says clinical medicines will be provided to households from Tuesday onwards, starting from the Gampaha and Colombo districts. With the aim of preventing the public from being inconvenienced, the Presidential Secretariat has turned to telephone and post to respond to public queries.
Taking the current COVID-19 situation into account, the President's office has decided to respond to the queries made by the general public via telephone and post. The number of employees at the Presidential Secretariat is currently reduced owing to the pandemic situation. As such, the decision was made in a bid to avoid any inconveniences on the part of the public and to ensure that their queries are answered. The public can contact the Public Relations Division at the Presidential Secretariat on 011 4354 550 and 011 2354 550, as well as on the fax number 011 234 8855. Meanwhile, the Ombudsman's office can be contacted on 011 2338 073, and the people can contact the Presidential Fund on 011 2354 354. Furthermore, the officers of the National Transport Medical Institute established in Nugegoda, Verahara and Gampaha have temporarily suspended services as a measure to prevent the spread of the virus. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Health today announced that senior citizens with chronic illnesses should not visit hospital clinics due to the spread of COVID-19. Accordingly, the Ministry of Health stated that the government is preparing a program to provide the required clinical medicines to households from Tuesday onwards, and that this program will be launched first focusing on the Gampaha and Colombo districts. In another development, the Republic of China has provided 16.5 billion rupees to Sri Lanka as financial assistance to fulfill the basic need in rural areas of the country, including medical care during the post-COVID period.
We will see you on the other side of this break. Stay with us.
Ceylon Bank, the bank with a heart.
Welcome back. You're watching First at 9. Now, former Commandant of the Police Special Task Force, retired Senior DIG M.R. Latif insists that the former IGP did not inform him of the foreign intelligence by phone even after the 9th of April. It has been well established that a forewarning on the Easter Sunday attacks was provided by a foreign intelligence agency on the 4th of April. Testifying before the Presidential Commission probing the attacks, Latif added that he never received all the attachments which had been exchanged on the foreign intel, but stressed that he would have been capable of comprehensive action had he received them. The Commandant of the Police Special Task Force at the time when the Easter Sunday terror attack struck, retired Senior Deputy Inspector General of Police M.R. Latif, gave evidence before the Presidential Commission probing the massacre for a third day yesterday. During the proceedings, the Senior State Counsel asked the witness whether there was grounds for the State Intelligence Service to not trust the forewarning of an attack provided by a foreign intelligence agency on the 4th of April, especially while having information of Zahran Hashim's links to the discovery of explosives from Vanathavillua, Lord Buddha statue vandalism in Mavanella, and the attempted murder of Taslim. The response of the former STF Commandant was no. Then the Senior State Counsel asked the witness, if that is the case, what is the view of the witness on the inclusion of the sentence, the State Intelligence Service is conducting investigations on the piece of information in secrecy, when it forwarded the intelligence information to other divisions. The response of the former STF Commandant was that it should in no way have been included by the State Intelligence Service. He added that by including the said sentence, the precision of the intelligence information had been plunged into uncertainty and that an immediate operation should have been launched based on the very precision of the intelligence information provided by the foreign agency. Former Commandant of the STF, Latif, noted that he did not receive all the attachments which had been exchanged pertaining to the piece of foreign intelligence received on the 4th of April, saying that had he received all the attachments containing detailed information of Zahran and other terrorists, he could have acted comprehensively. Then the Senior State Counsel asked the witness that if former IGP Pujit Jayasundara had testified, saying that he informed the former STF Commandant of the April 4th foreign intelligence via telephone after the 9th of April, would he accept it? Former Commandant of the STF, Latif's reply to that was, if former IGP Pujit Jayasundara had given such a testimony before the Commission, it is an utter lie, adding that the IGP at no point informed him of foreign intelligence by telephone. The Senior State Counsel asked the witness, as to why he had not provided 3 reports compiled by the STF intelligence units in the Eastern Province on its awareness on extremism to the Commission when it was informed that all notifications made by the STF intelligence units on extremism since 2015 should be provided to the Presidential Commission. The former commandant of the STF said that there was no special reason to do so and that notifications made by the STF intelligence units since 2019 and beyond were submitted to the Presidential Commission. The Commission then asked the witness whether he would accept the accusation that he arbitrarily transferred personnel from the STF camps especially set up in the Eastern Province, particularly to look into Islamic extremism, and that those personnel were also deployed for other duties by him. Former Commandant of the Police Special Task Force, retired Senior Deputy Inspector General of Police Ahmad Latif replied, quote, "I do not accept that accusation. I have made 31 transfers while being the Commandant of the STF. 23 of them were done internally within the STF. The reasons for them include requests from officers and the conclusion of the mandatory service period. Only 2 were interdicted owing to questionable behaviour. I do not accept that those factors led to the weakening of intelligence units in the Eastern Province." Unquote. Continuing with other local stories, the DIG in charge of the Criminal Investigation Department and its Chief Investigative Officer are summoned to the office of the Attorney General tomorrow pertaining to the release of the suspect Riaj Badiuddin. It has also been notified that all relevant investigative material to be submitted for the perusal of the Attorney General tomorrow. The evidence uncovered during investigations is also to be reviewed during the meeting. The Attorney General is expected to focus on how Riaj Badiuddin was revealed or released without his knowledge and supervision, and especially the reasons behind releasing Riaj Badiuddin from criminal charges after he had withdrawn a fundamental rights case from the Supreme Court and a habeas corpus case from the Court of Appeal. The Attorney General is also expecting to instruct relevant authorities to take appropriate action based on the evidence produced on the case. A group of senior police officers have been transferred with immediate effect on the approval of the National Police Commission. The police said that the transfers were made on service requirements. As such, 8 Deputy Inspectors General of Police, a Senior Superintendent, a Superintendent and 3 Assistant Superintendents have been transferred. DIG Ajit Rohana has been appointed as the police media spokesperson in addition to his position as the DIG of the Legal Discipline and Conduct Range. DIG in charge of the Galle District, KNJ Vedasinghe, has been appointed as the acting DIG of Western Province North. Meanwhile, SSP Jali Senaratne, who was the Director and Media Spokesperson of the Police Public Relations Division, has been transferred to the Kankasanture Division. Reportedly, the SSP has been appointed as the personal assistant to the senior DIG in charge of the Northern Province due to disciplinary reasons. We will see you shortly. Bear with us. Welcome back. This is First at 9. Now, Huawei's Vice President for Europe, Abraham Liu, says that the Chinese telecom giant is finding it harder to counter US sanctions designed to choke off its access to semiconductors, but can continue to serve European 5G network clients. The world's biggest maker of mobile telecommunications equipment and smartphones was still looking for the solution to help millions of Huawei phone users after Google was banned from providing technical support for new Huawei phone models using mobile operating system Android. Liu also said that Washington was blackmailing chipmakers into shunning ties with Huawei, which denies US allegations that Huawei equipment could be used by Beijing for spying. However, he confidently stated that they continue to serve their European customers in the 5G sector because of many preparations and upfront investments with the most advanced technology. Now, Sri Lanka's external sector has continued to recover in relation to many aspects during August 2020, mainly supported by an improved trade deficit and a notable increase in workers' remittances. According to external trade data released by the central bank, the country's trade deficit narrowed in August this year as import prices declined at a faster pace than the decline in export prices. Also, on a cumulative basis, the trade deficit narrowed by over $1 billion during the period from January to August 2020. The deficit in the trade account in August 2020 narrowed to $342 million from $541 million in August 2019 as imports declined at a faster pace than the decline in exports. Also, on a cumulative basis, the trade deficit narrowed by over $1 billion to $3,812 million during the period from January to August 2020, from $4,855 million in the corresponding period of 2019. Meanwhile, terms of trade, the ratio of the price of exports to the price of imports, improved by 4.6% year-on-year in August 2020 as import prices declined at a faster pace than the decline in exports. In the meantime, earnings from merchandise exports declined both on a year-on-year basis as well as on a month-on-month basis in August 2020, although export performance remained robust considering the current global market conditions. Merchandise exports declined to $947 million in August 2020 compared to $1,033 million recorded in August 2019 and $1,085 million recorded in July 2020. The year-on-year decline emanated from declines recorded in earnings from all three major categories of exports: industrial, agricultural, and mineral. Merchandise imports also recorded a decline of 18.1% to $1,289 million in August 2020, continuing the year-on-year decline trend observed since March 2020. Workers' remittances, meanwhile, recorded a notable increase for the third consecutive month, recording a growth of 28.2% in August 2020 year-on-year to $664 million. This increase helped limit the cumulative decline in workers' remittances to 1.5% to $4,346 million during the period from January to August 2020 in comparison to the corresponding period of 2019. The positive market sentiment seen over the past week, which was fueled by the control exerted over the coronavirus by the government, is expected to follow into the next week. Last Friday, Sri Lankan shares rose for a third straight session on the back of gains in financial and industrial stocks. Now let's take a look at what we can expect in the market during the week ahead.
Looking at the upcoming week, we feel that the progress of the week will heavily depend on how the government manages to control the COVID-19 wave that has resulted in escalation of positive patients. So with that, depending on how the government manages to control the situation over the weekend, we feel that that will have a significant impact on the market direction in the upcoming week. Assuming that there is some sort of control similar to the last couple of days, Thursday and Friday, with significant patients being detected and the area has been locked down, we feel that the positive sentiment created out of that is likely to continue in the upcoming week as well. So with that, we feel that there will continue to be heavy retail participation. So last week we saw turnover levels significantly increasing to over 3 billion back again. So if that is the case, the control is successful, then we feel that this level of turnover will come back into the market.
And that's it from all of us here at First at 9. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.